Hello and thank you for watching my video, Year 3. Today we are going to plan our very own Playscript. So let's take a look, first of all, at our journey. We started off by asking you what are Playscripts and have a go at writing one. Then we made our very own dinosaur characters, and then we made our very own conversation using our characters. Last week, we had a look at writing some stage directions. Now we are planning our play script, and then let's look ahead. We're going to write it, and then we're going to peer assess it, which means that we're going to look at each other's and tell them how successful they've been. Okay, let's take a little moment to look at our features. These are everything our play script needs. So we need to write a title. We need to write a cast list. We need to use stage directions in brackets to set the scene. We need to put a new speaker on a new line, and you are so good at doing that. We need to use stage directions to say how characters acted, like laughing loudly. And we can also use them for how our characters are feeling. All right, so let's move on to today's lesson. We're going to start thinking about choosing a setting. Where is our story going to be set? In a minute, I'm going to show you lots of different settings. Now, a setting is the place where our story takes place. I want you, whilst we go through them, to start thinking, what do you want for your setting? So it could be in a zoo. Thinking already about characters. Who could your characters be? Could they be the animals themselves that actually talk to each other? Is it going to be on a beautiful island with gentle waves whooshing by? Who could your characters be if they were here? Maybe yours is going to be in space or on an alien spaceship. Could be in a fantasy castle with a princess and a prince. Maybe it could be in the snow with polar bears and Eskimos. It could be in the park, having a picnic, playing with your dog, or playing on the swings. So who could your characters be if you were here? And what would they be doing? Maybe it could be spooky and in a haunted house with ghosts and ghoulies. Or on a pirate ship. Ahoy, a matey! Maybe yours could be set there. Okay, so I want you to pause the video now, and I want you on your whiteboard to just write down where you want yours set. So my setting, now that I'm planning it with you, is going to be on the pirate ship. Where are you going to choose? Pause the video and just write it on your whiteboard. My setting is the zoo. My setting is the fantasy castle. Pause now, get that job done. Okay, so now that you've chosen your setting, and I hope you've all done that, we're now going to think about creating 4 characters. So if you can remember, mine is set on a pirate ship. You need to think about characters for your play script. So I've got old one-leg Bill, 9 Lives Nancy, Seashell Michelle, and Dopey Dave. I'm going to have 4 pirates in my play script. I want you to start thinking about the names and whether they're animals or whether they're people, and maybe just now make a list on your whiteboard. So for example, if I'm doing a spooky haunted house, there might be Jim, and Jim's a little boy that's gone to investigate, and there might be a ghost. So ghost is going to be a character. Okay, so have a think. I want you to name 4 characters. Pause the video now and make a list on your whiteboard. Okay, so already, now that we've been planning, we have our setting and we have our characters. So now we need to think about what's going to happen in our story. What's going to happen in our play script when the characters are talking to each other. So the first part is the problem. Okay, and this is the thing that causes a little bit of an issue. So we want to think about what trouble might be ahead. What struggles are the characters facing? We might want to think about what dangers there might be. And which character becomes cautious? Oh, this isn't a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't go inside the haunted house. Okay, so let's have a think. Here's my example. My pirate ship is headed in the right direction for a treasure island. As they turn a corner, getting closer to the cove, they spot the enemy. Captain Blackbeard's beating them to it. Seashell Michelle has a bad feeling about this and wants to turn around before they are seen. So here is my problem. My ship is traveling towards an island ready to look for treasure, but Captain Blackbeard's there already. So what should they do? Okay. Have a little think for a second. Give yourself 30 seconds. What could your problem be? Okay, so now we're going to look at the dilemma. Now the dilemma is between the problem and problem solving. What should we do? Should we do this? Should we do that? And they make a plan. So we want to think about, should they continue? Who actually has a plan to solve the problem? And what problem or issue is going to happen? So have a look at mine. Remember, my characters are on a pirate ship looking for gold. Old One-Legged Bill is so greedy that he wants to continue to look for the treasure. Dopey Dave thinks he has a plan, but really he hasn't thought about it. Nine Lives Nancy agrees with Bill, and so the crew decide to continue to fight Captain Blackbeard. They continue forward and get the cannons ready. Oh, so what do you think is going to happen next in my story? Remember, you're planning your own. So think about your setting, think about your characters, and then think about their plot. Maybe you're writing notes on your whiteboard, which is fantastic because it's going to help you when you do this task. So have a think, what are they going to do? Next up is our resolution. What are the main characters doing about the problem? Have they been able to solve the issues? Is there anything they could do better? So have a look at my planning. As they get closer and closer, Dopey Dave is too eager and sets the cannon off too early. Splosh into the water. This alerts Blackbeard's pirates who ambush them from the shores. But instead of fighting, they decide that if they are lucky enough to find the treasure, they will divide it equally and make a pact not to fight again. Isn't that nice? Two different pirate crews that are both looking for the treasure, and instead of arguing and fighting about it, they've decided that they're going to share it if they find it. And then how does your story end? How does your play script end? What do the characters learn? Is there a moral to the story? So is there a lesson that they get taught? Is there an obvious next step? Check out my ending. Old One-Legged Bill and Captain Blackbeard work together to find the treasure. As they dig and grow tired, the gold begins to glisten. As a team, they sit and they share the loot before heading in separate directions. So what can my moral be here? What lesson do you think they've learned? Well, I think it's about being cooperative, and I think it's about working as a team. And I think it's about being generous and sharing. Okay, so what you need to do. You on Seesaw need to go to add response, and I want you to choose your story setting. I want you to create up to 4 characters. I want you to plan your Playscript story. So you're going to have this template here. Number 1, choose your story setting. My Playscript story is going to be set in, I want you to tell me, the zoo, a magic castle. And then I want you to describe what it's like there. And if you remember back, okay, so you're going to have to go back, there was lots of beautiful words that you could use to describe your setting. Step 2, I want you to create up to 4 characters. So you could write their names in different bubbles, and just like me, if you wanted, you can add some clip art pictures or draw them yourself. And then lastly, you're going to fill out these boxes. What is going to happen in your story? I want to know what your problem is. I want to know what they're going to do about their problem. How is the problem solved? And then what lesson or moral do they learn? Okay, that makes perfect sense. You've got a wicked job to do. If you want to use your dinosaur characters, that's absolutely fine because we've already done them. But I want you to think imaginatively. I want you to be really creative with this, and I want you to choose where your setting is. I want you to create 4 new characters, and I want you to tell me what's going to happen in their story. Once we've done that, we've planned our Playscript successfully. Tick.